Now, Gold One is set to announce a new union. The mine resumed production late last year after a few underground sit-ins by workers. It follows a stalemate over union members between the NUM and AMCU. Joining us is Ziyaad Hassam, who's the Gold One mine spokesperson and legal representative. A very good afternoon to you, Ziyaad. Thank you so much for your time. This new union that's coming in, talk to us about what has led to that.
Hi, good afternoon. So as you correctly said, there were two incidents last year which resulted in hostage situations, and the culmination of which resulted in a termination of the closed shop agreement that the mine had with the NUM. That terminated on the 14th of December of last year. Immediately thereafter, we began negotiations with AMCU, who had submitted some 1,300 verification or membership forms of employees who had indicated a preference to join AMCU. We then embarked on a verification process, which was facilitated by the CCMA. The first leg of that verification process was a desktop exercise, where we essentially verified the signatures, as well as to confirm that all of those members are in fact employees of the mine. Over the past 2 weeks, we've then progressed that to a physical verification where all members who had signed forms were requested to present themselves and to in fact confirm that that was the intention, or that is the intention. That process concluded just a few hours ago. We await a final report from the CCMA, and we expect that we'll get that report by next week, Tuesday. Thereafter, we'll be in a position to ascertain the number of employees who've now moved from the NUM to AMCU, and in all likelihood, we'll then get into some sort of a recognition agreement with AMCU going forward.
So what position does this now put workers with the NUM and AMCU?
So the current workforce on the A and B categories totals in excess of 1,300. A lot of the forms that AMCU have submitted are for employees who had already been dismissed following the two incidents of last year. So what we've needed to do is to eliminate those from the tallying, and where we're at now is in excess of 500 of our employees have indicated a preference to join AMCU. Now, we still wait the final numbers, but there's likely to be some kind of a split between AMCU and NUM membership, which is not unusual within the mining sector. There are several mines where those exact two unions coexist, and with some sort of share of the representation within that bargaining unit. And that's likely to be the situation at our mine going forward, where there'll be some kind of a split between NUM and AMCU going forward.
So in terms of what's happening at the moment at the mine, I know you resumed production after a labor turf battle, hampered operations for nearly a month. What is it looking like at the moment as operations resume, and the sort of atmosphere that is within the workers?
I think things have calmed down significantly at the turn of the year. We've enjoyed a fairly stress-free month as far as that's concerned. I think we've had very amicable discussions with both AMCU and NUM, and I think there's a willingness, from all sides to have labor peace going forward, and to put the incidents of last year behind us. There's still a process ongoing at the CCMA where AMCU are challenging the dismissals of several of the employees, but there doesn't seem to be any threat of further escalation as there was last year.
And what is your position on those that have since been dismissed, as AMCU argues this matter?
Well, look, I think from our side, we maintain the position that the dismissals were correct, that the procedure followed through those disciplinary proceedings were in line with labor law and in line with our own policies. They were all chaired by independent chairpersons. So that's our position. We maintain that those decisions were correct, but we will engage with AMCU through the CCMA process that commences next week.
Have you begun to count the costs of the labour unrest and the impact that it had on the mine's finances?
I think it's very hard to put actual numbers on the table. I think last year we did a calculation where we estimated that daily losses would be in the region of 12 to 15 million rand. That's excluding the additional costs, security and otherwise, that we've had to expand over the last few months, and doesn't take into consideration the early closure as well for last year. So it was a very, very poor last quarter of 2023, and we really have urged all employees as well as the recognized trade unions that there needs to be a willingness to move forward and to kind of bounce back from last year.